Welcome everybody to our service today. Though we can't meet face to face, at least we can keep texting everybody and ringing them and making sure all our friends are all right. That's all we can do. We've got another 6 weeks of lockdown, so we just have to be prayerful and pray that we're all going to stay together. We'll get together again one day. Let's sit back and relax and listen to our message from Reverend Robert Johnson.
Reading from Matthew chapter 13, verses 24 to 30 and 36 to 43. Jesus told them another parable. The kingdom of heaven is like this. A man sowed good seed in his field. One night, when everyone was asleep, an enemy came and sowed weeds among the wheat and went away. When the plants grew and the heads of grain began to form, then the weeds showed up. The man's servants came to him and said, "Sir, it was good seed you sowed in your field. Where did the weeds come from?" "It was some enemy who did this," he answered. "Do you want us to go and pull up the weeds?" they asked him. "No," he answered, "because as you gather the weeds, you might pull up some of the wheat along with them. Let the wheat and the weeds both grow together until harvest. Then I will tell the harvest workers to pull up the weeds first, tie them in bundles and burn them, and then to gather in the wheat and put it in my barn, in their Father's kingdom. Listen then, if you have ears." May God add his blessing to this reading.
Good morning, everyone. It's good to be together again. I've been doing some weeding this week, really exciting stuff. But as I've been there trying to get up the oxalis and the onion weed, I was thinking about Jesus' parable about the weeds growing in the middle of the wheat field, and his idea that the farmer would just let them all grow up until they were harvested at the end. And I thought, wow, that sounds attractive. That sounds much easier than trying to dig up all these weeds. I thought, no, actually Jesus isn't giving gardening advice here. He's talking about something quite different. He's talking about us not being too quick to judge others, and especially not to condemn others. Because that was a problem. It was a problem then and it's a problem now. People say within the church, how come everyone in the church isn't perfect? How come people do some really mean things sometimes to one another? It's the reality. How come in the world there are people who we don't like and we don't understand? Actually, we're encouraged in that way, aren't we? People who aren't good leaders often encourage us to see others as the problem. It's all the fault of, and it changes from time to time. 100 years ago, we had a White Australia policy. We were scared of any Asians coming in. Now it's Muslims, or maybe it was Jews, or maybe now it's Africans who some people are saying are all in violent gangs, condemning others. We want to be a bit careful here because at the moment, Victorians are on the outgroup, aren't we, by other people around Australia, and naturally we don't like that. And Jesus is saying, stop judging and condemning others just because they're a little different from you. It's God's business to judge at the end. All of these people are all God's good creation, made in God's image, and basically just trying to get a life for themselves and their families. Jesus' whole mission in coming into this earth is showing that God's way is not to exclude people, but to draw them into the circle by his love. God was about reconciling the world in Jesus to himself and to one another. And if we're going to be God's representative, God's church here on earth, that's what we have to show. Try and show some signs of God's reconciling love. Getting back to the weeding, while I was down on my hands and knees, I was thinking, what I really would like is something that I could just spray over the whole lot that would make the weeds die and all the flowers and the other plants grow. And I thought, actually, that's pretty much what God's love does. Not instantly, but what it does is to, in us, because there's weeds in our hearts, aren't there, if we're honest, is to dampen down the bad parts and to encourage the good parts of us. That's what he does in the world too. So here we as a church are trying to show some signs of what God's reconciling love might be about. Within the church, can we show love to one another even when we're different or when we hurt one another? In our community, can we start to show signs of God's reconciling love with Aboriginal people, with people who are different religions, Muslims, Jews, whoever? One of the great ways we can do this, and one of the ways I really enjoy being part of, is being together with Christians who come from different countries, different cultures, different races. And it's a great joy to come together and to discover that it's the same God and the same love of God in each of us, but we're given different insights from the different cultures and nationalities. And when people can see that Christians actually get along together, that we are reconciled with people from every nation of the world, it's a sign that maybe, if we opened ourselves to God's love, that could be the reality for our world. So we find lots of ways. We're delighted of showing this love of God that leaps across boundaries between people. This week, Chris and I were sent a lovely song from John Bell, who you probably know from the Iona community in Scotland. He's in Glasgow, but he sent to us a song that was written in Norway, in Norwegian, and then came to him and he translated it into English and sent it to us in Australia. So from Norway to Scotland to Chelsea and Carrum, here's a marvellous song about God's love in a time of being locked down and our longing to come together. It goes, we will meet when the danger is over. We'll meet when the sad days are done. We'll meet sitting closely together and be glad our tomorrow has come. For our prayer this morning, we're going to listen to this song and hope you'll share in singing quietly and praying with me. Thank you.
We will meet when the danger is over. We will meet when the sad days are done. We will meet sitting closely together and be glad our tomorrow has come. We will join to give thanks and sing gladly. We will join to break bread and share wine. And the peace that we pass to each other will be more than a casual sign. So let's make with each other a promise that when all we've come through is behind, we will share what we missed and find meaning in the things that once troubled our mind. Until then, may we always discover faith and love to